So, in 2023, DoorDash pulled in about $8.6 billion.
Wow. Yeah, that's just a staggering number.
Right. And when you think about it, they're essentially just playing matchmaker,
Sure.
between hungry people and local kitchens.
Exactly. But it feels like this impenetrable fortress, right? Like this multi-billion-dollar empire protected by a massive technological moat.
Yeah, but what if that mode is actually just a mirage?
That is the million-dollar question. Or, well, I guess the billion-dollar question.
Exactly. So today, our deep dive is looking at this really eye-opening technical guide from Enatega.
Right.
And our mission here is to figure out exactly how basically anyone with a few months and just a fraction of the cost can build a white label DoorDash clone.
Yeah, which is kind of wild to think about.
It is. We want to know if this ready-made code is about to disrupt the big delivery monopolies. Because, I mean, we aren't just talking about a passing tech trend here.
No, definitely not.
The broader online food delivery industry is projected to reach $1.85 trillion by 2029.
Trillion. With a T. That just completely reframes how we should look at those little apps on our phones.
Right.
Because we tend to view giants like Uber Eats or DoorDash as these impenetrable fortresses of engineering.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I always assumed you needed an army of coders in Silicon Valley.
Yeah, and for a long time, the barrier to getting into that logistics tech space was incredibly high. You needed millions in venture capital just to, build the digital infrastructure before you ever even delivered your first burger.
Right.
But what an architecture like a clone script does is it dramatically lowers that wall.
Okay, let's unpack this because I want to make sure I'm visualizing this correctly.
Sure.
Are we talking about like the software equivalent of a prefabricated house?
Oh, I like that, yeah.
Like, you buy the walls and the roof pre-built, they drop it on your lot.
Yeah.
But you still have to like paint it, furnish it, and actually make it livable.
The prefab house is a great way to think about it. The plumbing and the electrical, they're already routed through the walls.
Yeah.
You're buying the foundational structure. But I will say, the word clone often trips people up in this context.
I mean, yeah, it definitely sounds like a polite word for theft.
Exactly. It carries a lot of baggage, especially in the startup world where originality is, highly prized.
Right, because if an entrepreneur is pitching investors on a DoorDash clone, the immediate red flag has to be the legal line.
Oh, for sure.
Like, where does inspired by end and intellectual property infringement actually begin? DoorDash has thousands of lawyers. Can you actually just buy software that copies their business model?
You absolutely can, as long as you understand what intellectual property actually protects.
Okay, lay it on me.
So in the tech world, you cannot copyright a functional concept.
Interesting.
Think about a physical grocery store. You can't copyright the idea of a customer pushing a metal cart down an aisle, putting items into it, and paying at a register.
Right, because then only one store could ever exist.
Exactly. So in the digital world, you cannot copyright the concept of putting an item in a digital cart or dispatching a courier or tracking a driver on a GPS map.
Oh, wow. Okay, so those are just functional mechanics.
Yeah, functionality itself is not copyrightable.
So the mechanics are public domain, essentially.
Yes. You can only copyright the specific proprietary code used to execute those functions and, of course, the branding overlaying it.
Got it.
So as long as you aren't stealing DoorDash's literal source code line by line, or infringing on their trademarks, or violating patents on highly specific routing tech, launching an app with identical functionality is perfectly legal.
Wow. Okay, and taking this prefab route, I read in the Enatega guide that an entrepreneur can have an app ready to launch, fully functional, in about 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, roughly 90 days.
Which honestly brings up a massive structural question about this entire industry.
What's that?
Well, if you can spin up a localized competitor in 90 days using off-the-shelf software, why isn't the market completely flooded with thousands of generic delivery apps?
Yeah. Well, that's because the software only solves the digital half of the equation.
Okay.
It drastically lowers the barrier to entry, but it does absolutely nothing to lower the barrier to success.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right. Launching the app is just arriving at the starting line. The software won't convince local restaurants to sign exclusive contracts with you.
Right.
It won't hire drivers, and it definitely won't persuade users to, delete Grubhub and download your new app.
The tech is commoditized, but the human network isn't.
Exactly. Which means the real differentiator is how you leverage that underlying technology in the physical world.
So we should probably look at what that technology actually is.
Yeah, let's get into it.
When an entrepreneur buys into one of these clone scripts, what is actually under the hood?
The technical architecture here is fascinating, and it starts with the foundation. For the front end, you're usually looking at React or Vue.js.
Okay.
And for the back-end database interactions, it's Node.js with Express, and typically MongoDB or PostgreSQL for the database itself.
So Node.js and React, are those pretty standard?
Oh, yeah. Those are industry standards for a reason, specifically when we talk about Node.js.
Why is that?
Well, if you're building a delivery app, your primary concern isn't just making it work for like a dozen people.
Right.
Your primary concern is what happens at 6:30 p.m. on Super Bowl Sunday.
Ah, the scalability test.
Precisely. Node.js is famous for its non-blocking architecture.
Non-blocking, what does that mean in plain English?
So think of Node like a wildly efficient restaurant host.
Okay.
In a traditional blocking system, a host takes a party to their table, waits for them to sit, waits for them to look at the menu, takes their drink order, and goes to the bar.
Meanwhile, a massive line is forming at the front door.
Exactly. Everyone waits for the previous task to finish.
That sounds terrible for an app.
It is. But a non-blocking host seats people, hands out menus, takes a drink order from another table, and greets the next party simultaneously.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that efficiency is why your app won't crash when 10,000 people are pinging the server at the exact same moment.
Wow. And that leads into the cloud deployment side, right?
Mhm.
Utilizing AWS and Docker.
Yeah,
Because we hear Docker thrown around in tech pitches constantly.
all the time. And Docker is brilliant for this kind of clone deployment.
How so?
Think of Docker like standardized shipping containers for code.
Oh,
In the old days, developers would build an app on their laptop, and it would work perfectly. But when they pushed it to the live server, it would crash.
because the server environment was different.
Exactly. It had a slightly different software environment. But Docker packs the code and all of its dependencies into one standardized, isolated box.
Like a shipping container.
Right. It runs identically everywhere. That means an entrepreneur doesn't need a massive, specialized IT team just to keep the servers from rejecting the code.
That is huge. But here's where it gets really interesting for the user experience, I think.
Oh, the tracking.
Yeah, the integration of socket.io for real-time communication.
Yes, that is crucial.
Because in a food delivery app, that translates to the live GPS tracking of the driver.
Which is everything.
It really is. As a user, watching that little car icon turn the corner onto your digital street is the entire psychological anchor of the app.
Yeah, it reduces delivery anxiety to zero.
Right. So how does socket.io actually do that?
It's a fundamental shift in how the web works. Normally, web communication is built on HTTP polling.
Okay, what is polling?
It's when the app asks the server, where is the driver? The server says, Main Street. 10 seconds later, the app asks again.
Oh, it's like a kid in the backseat repeatedly asking, are we there yet?
That is the perfect analogy, yes.
It sounds kind of inefficient.
It is. But Socket.io establishes a WebSocket. It opens a persistent two-way radio channel between the server and the app.
Oh, so it doesn't have to keep asking.
Exactly. The server just streams the driver's location continuously without having to be prompted,
And that's how you get that buttery smooth car icon sliding across the map.
instead of it jumping clunkily from block to block.
That makes total sense. And that level of polish is what users expect now.
Oh, absolutely.
If your app is clunky, they just go back to Uber Eats.
Immediately.
So alongside that tracking, you get the essential mechanics, right? Like in-app routes for riders, multi-language support, status updates, and payment gateways like Stripe or PayPal.
Yeah, all the baseline stuff. Plus the advanced features you need for retention.
Like what?
Things like drop positions set up for drivers, personalized recommendation lists, reward and discount programs, and group order management for large parties.
But let me challenge this from the founder's perspective for a second.
Okay, go for it.
If I'm raising capital to launch a local delivery startup, should I really be burning mental energy on WebSockets and Docker containers?
I mean,
Doesn't buying a clone script mean I'm paying specifically to avoid this tech headache?
well, yes and no. You are paying to avoid building it, but you really cannot afford to ignore how it operates.
Really? Why not?
You don't need to be a mechanic to drive a car, but you absolutely need to know if the engine takes gas or diesel.
Okay, fair point.
If you want to customize a specific loyalty feature 6 months after launch, or if you need to scale up your AWS servers because you're expanding to a neighboring city, you have to know what sandbox you're playing in.
That makes sense.
If you don't understand your tech stack, you will be utterly at the mercy of expensive freelance developers every time the app glitches.
Ouch. Yeah, that would
You're
trade a
right.
budget fast. Which actually brings us to the financial reality of all this.
The fun part.
The cost comparison here is just staggering.
It really is.
If a founder wants to maintain pure startup purity and build this platform entirely from scratch, like hiring their own developers to write every line of code, the guide estimates the cost is between $95,000 and $320,000.
Yeah, and the breakdown of those costs reveals why software development is so capital intensive.
Let's hear it.
Before a single line of code is written, you're spending up to $15,000 just on market research and technical specifications.
Wow, just for the blueprint.
Exactly. Then the UI and UX design, crafting a user interface that is actually intuitive, that's another $10,000 to $30,000.
And then the front-end development is what, $20,000 to $50,000?
Yep. But the real gut punch is the server-side architecture.
The back end.
Yeah. Building the custom backend alone can run up to $70,000.
$70,000. I think a lot of people underestimate that.
Oh, completely.
They look at a sleek app interface and think that's what they're paying for.
Right, the buttons and the colors.
Yes. But the actual expense is building the invisible logistical brain that handles, user profiles, menu state changes, payment security compliance, concurrent order routing.
All the heavy lifting.
Dropping 70 grand just on the back end is a massive reality check for a bootstrapped startup.
And that's not even everything. Add in QA testing for $10,000 to $20,000, API integrations for $5,000 to $15,000, and the initial launch and marketing budget.
So hitting that $320,000 ceiling happens remarkably fast.
It does. Though keep in mind, those figures fluctuate wildly based on geography. Oh, like where the developers are located.
Exactly. If you hire a development agency in North America or Western Europe, you will hit that upper limit almost instantly due to labor rates.
Right.
If you offshore the development to Eastern Europe or Asia, you can drag that cost down closer to the $95,000 mark.
Okay, but even still, 95 grand is a lot of money.
It is. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, the true cost of custom development isn't just the burn rate.
What is it?
It's the opportunity cost of time.
Oh. You mentioned earlier that clone takes 3 to 4 months. What is it for custom? A year or more?
Easily a year.
Yeah.
Building from scratch means you own 100% of the intellectual property.
Right.
You aren't beholden to a third-party framework, and you can build a highly bespoke interface.
Which is nice to have.
It's great.
Yeah.
But in a fast-moving, localized industry like food delivery, waiting 12 months to launch means your market window might completely close.
Yeah, a competitor could establish exclusive contracts with all the best local restaurants while you're still beta testing your custom code. Exactly. Clone scripts offer rapid entry. You are buying a proven functional business logic, which means you start generating a return on investment in a quarter of the time.
So preserving that $300,000 of capital sounds incredibly strategic in theory.
Definitely.
But money in the bank doesn't automatically equal loyal customers on the app.
No, it doesn't.
Once this clone is live, you aren't just fighting for users, you are stepping into an arena dominated by optimization engines.
Oh, it is a battlefield.
If you launch an app today, who are you actually going up against?
You're up against logistics empires that use data as a weapon.
Like Uber Eats.
Yeah, Uber Eats commands roughly 24% of the U.S. market share.
Wow.
And Grubhub has locked in over 30,000 restaurants and positions itself aggressively on pricing.
Right, the cheap alternative. And then you have Postmates.
Yep, Postmates diversifies by delivering retail goods and alcohol, not just hot food.
And Deliveroo is massive globally, like in over 200 cities, right?
Yes. Plus you have Seamless, Zomato for the global review side, and Caviar, which caters almost exclusively to high-end upscale dining.
But the elephant in the room is DoorDash.
Always.
And this is where the tech versus tech argument really breaks down. DoorDash doesn't just dominate because of brand awareness.
No, they dominate because of their routing algorithm.
It isn't just a basic matching system that pings the closest driver to a restaurant, is it?
Not at all. The mechanics of their algorithm are wild. It's essentially solving a real-time version of the traveling salesman problem, but with perishable goods.
Oh man, the traveling salesman problem.
Yeah, it's incredibly complex.
Because the algorithm has to factor in real-time traffic data, weather, and the specific driver's historical speed, right?
Right. And then it balances that against the restaurant's prep time.
So the goal is to optimize the exact moment the driver pulls up to the curb with the exact moment the kitchen is bagging the food.
Yes, because if the driver arrives too early, they're wasting time waiting, which hurts their hourly earnings.
And if they arrive too late, the food is sitting on a counter getting cold.
which ruins the customer experience. The algorithm dynamically syncs those two timelines across millions of orders simultaneously.
That is mind-blowing.
And this raises an important question for any entrepreneur looking at a clone script.
Which is?
Well, if DoorDash has hundreds of machine learning engineers constantly tuning that prep time to arrival time optimization,
Yeah.
and you have a $30,000 out-of-the-box clone app,
You cannot compete on computational firepower.
you just can't.
You are basically bringing a knife to a laser fight.
Exactly.
If a founder buys a clone script and tries to launch in Los Angeles or Chicago, which are total DoorDash strongholds, and offers the exact same generic burger and pizza deliveries, they are going to get slaughtered.
Absolutely slaughtered.
So what does this all mean for the strategy? How does a generic clone survive?
By not fighting them where they are strongest,
Okay, so avoidance.
you survive through extreme niche specialization or geographic isolation.
Look at what Caviar did.
Yes, you take a page right from Caviar's playbook. You approach high-end, exclusive local bistros that refuse to put their food on DoorDash because they hate the branding or the exorbitant commission fees.
Ah, and you offer them a white glove delivery service on your app with lower commissions.
Precisely. Or you focus entirely on a mid-sized secondary city.
Well, a smaller market.
Yeah, you build deep personal relationships with the local chamber of commerce and mom-and-pop restaurants in a town of, say, 100,000 people where Uber Eats hasn't established a massive ground game yet.
It's asymmetric warfare.
It really is. You use the clone script to handle the digital logistics, but your actual moat is community relationships.
And the timing of your operations matters too, right?
Oh, heavily.
Because the consumer data shows that Friday through Sunday are the busiest days, while Monday through Wednesday are notoriously slow.
Right.
So if you have limited capital that you saved by using a clone, you don't burn your marketing budget running ads on a Tuesday morning.
No, that would be a waste.
Instead, you heavily incentivize your drivers on Friday nights to ensure your delivery times are faster than DoorDash during the peak rush.
Exactly. You also have to build those incentive structures directly into your budget.
Because users are fickle.
Consumers in this space are notoriously disloyal.
Totally. They hunt for free food.
They do. They will jump between apps to use promotional codes, referral bonuses, zero delivery fee weekends, whatever they can find.
So your strategy has to account for user acquisition costs.
Yes. The technology will function flawlessly on a Tuesday, but if your local marketing isn't driving habit loops, the app will just sit dormant on people's phones.
Right. Synthesizing everything we've explored today, it seems like the fundamental takeaway for anyone looking at this space is that the technology powering the global food delivery boom is no longer some unattainable magic.
It really isn't. It's just a tool.
Yeah. The frameworks like React and Node.js, the real-time WebSockets, the Docker deployments, clone scripts have effectively commoditized all of it. A founder can bypass a $320,000 barrier to entry, get a scalable app up and running in a few months, and push all their capital toward what actually matters: market strategy.
And that is the key. In the modern tech economy, execution and local partnerships have eclipsed original code in value.
Wow.
Think about it. A beautifully custom-coded logistics platform with zero restaurant partners is worthless.
Right, it's just a blank screen.
But a pre-built, templated clone app powered by exclusive local partnerships and a fiercely loyal neighborhood customer base, that is a highly profitable, sustainable business.
The software is no longer the business. It is merely the vehicle for the business.
Well said.
It completely shifts the power dynamic. The protective moat around these giant companies isn't necessarily their software architecture anymore, it's their network density.
And network density can be chipped away at locally.
Which leaves us with this final thought. If clone scripts are democratizing the billion-dollar tech that runs food delivery, lowering the barrier to entry to just a few months and a fraction of the cost, will the future of food delivery actually shift away from global monopolies like DoorDash and Uber Eats? Are we about to see a renaissance of hyper-local, neighborhood-owned co-op delivery apps that keep profits inside their own communities? Because if the tech is no longer the moat, the giants might be more vulnerable than they look.